Welcome guys, it's Ola here, and in today's episode we are going to work on the industrial zone, finally. It's going to be a part 1 where I will start off with road layout, waterfront sculpting and adding offices, buildings and also a small cargo yard, you will see that. So without further ado, let's get straight to the first part, which is working on roads. The roads that are going to lead to the industrial zone from the residential part of the map. And yeah, we'll start with making the basic dirt roads a little bit better. I moved the roads further from the train tracks by selecting the nodes with move it and then clicking down arrow. I use prop anarchy, which by default is always on, hence the trees are overlapping with the roads when I make them wider. And again, I use move it to clean the roads from the trees, which is weirdly, I know, satisfying. And as the roads were nice and clean, I wanted to play a bit with Traffic Manager to adjust stuff like traffic lights, lanes and speeds. My toxic trait is putting very minimum effort into setting routes correctly and then being weirdly surprised when crazy traffic emerges. I also added a small road to the place where sewage drains are placed. They are placed super randomly. And with all the preparation, let's get to the industrial site. I definitely need to trim the tracks. They are super long. It was by default by the map creator. I tried to expand the land since I want this place to become a shipyard. So it sure needs some adjusting and I need this space to be bigger, especially that we are going to have also a train cargo station. And I use the retention walls network, I think that's how it's called, to manage the waterfront. And oopsie, I gotta fix that. I wasn't sure if I want this really straight angles and more artificial look or to leave it like this. I guess in that form it blends better with the hilly and uneven terrain around it. This is how it looks at the end, and this little side entry road marks the beginning of my worst nightmare, which is actual road layout. At some time I watched tons of videos with different layouts here on YouTube, and I always try to draw something with dirt roads first, or even on the piece of paper, like in this case, and see how I'm doing. I focus in detail more on the left side where offices will be located, and I expect much less traffic over here. The middle part will have this sunken warehouses. Is that crazy realistic? Probably not, but I wanted to add at least a bit of interest and play with different levels. It's definitely not the final look though, and right side will be modified. And after finishing the outline, I went to work on the main roundabout. It's definitely on the smaller side, but I don't expect crazy traffic, at least for a while. I wasn't sure with what width should I do this. In the end, I chose to make 6 lanes going into 3 lanes roundabout, which should give enough space but can also create troubles later. So I kept this basic setup, playing a bit with Traffic Manager. Once we will get the traffic flowing, I will see which parts need to be reworked, and also spoiler alert, I will get back to this part after I finish with offices. So I went to work on actual setup in the office area. I have this 4-lane road ring, and in the middle I went also with 4 lanes, but the narrow type of road. Not that wide, it has more neat look, but benefits of 4-lane, which is obviously ability to switch to the correct lane when approaching the intersection, not blocking here, not blocking the cars behind you when you enter the building. So yeah, one-way roads are usually used in cargo zones, in like industrial sites I've seen on the YouTube, but I will leave it for the later and for the part on the right. And also remember that not always more lanes means less traffic, but more intersections almost always means more traffic. And in that case you see a lot of intersections, so it's kind of risky, but I hope we'll do fine. And this middle part is going to have warehouses at the bottom. It's a weird design, like I said before, but again, something we'll get back to in the future episode. Gosh, it must be so annoying hearing a lot of in the next episode, but I guess that's how it is. Probably we'll move it a bit higher so it's not like a full-blown pit, and yeah, and use 1-lane roads in that scenery. So offices, we are slowly approaching the office area. I feel like the placement of actual buildings, it's going to be easy, but the road management, parking, it's freaking tedious. I needed to place parking roads for our lovely future workers, and at first I want this area to be more dirty, kind of like in the landfill episode, which had basically slums. I hope you can say that and it's not an insult. I'm not sure anymore. But then I was like, we are going to work on the high rise soon, head into the actual city, so it will blend nicer in that shape when it doesn't look like basically landfill. And now you see that I actually got back to fixing roundabout once more. It's usually difficult for me to set stuff like roundabouts, intersection and everything if I don't have the actual traffic issues, and I'm not sure what's the actual problem, from which side cars will emerge. So I just kept it super simple, each entry lanes connected to each other. leaving the space in the actual center for potential lane switching. And yeah, I went back to creating parking spots every now and then and adding some fencing and greenery in the area. Then I chose few office models that will fit the area. They are around 4 to 6 level height approximately, so the water still be visible from the windows for the workers, but it wouldn't be, they can still, I don't know, look at the shipyard and control everything. I think we need like a proper traffic control tower, something like this. It would be nice. It can also accommodate more workers this way, as the need for industry have risen recently. It was a lot of try and see, as you can see, and I ended up with what I think is actually a fair portion of vanilla buildings, including Japanese Park, which is one of my favorites, and the custom one. Once I had models I like, I assembled them again pretty randomly to fit the shapes I already had. And once they were done, I added a little bit of decor, again fencing, street decals, so it looks a bit more wear off, giving that there are going to be trucks passing around this ring road. Since the other side is going to actually be more industrial, I thought it's a good idea to add cargo yard with containers and trucks, which will allow us to blend nicely with the future shipyard, where I'll be expanding this cargo yard. I used the airport fields or something like this, which are vanilla and are simply, I don't know, concrete segments. It looks super 2D, no dimension at all, super boring. So first thing to do was adding some decals and marks for the trucks and containers. And by the way, this water has such an unrealistic color, now I can see it, but I like it still. Random thought of mine. Some containers are vanilla, some are custom, but I guess it looks cohesive and we are okay, so at least we are not going to be crazy heavy on the PC. By the way, I have such a bad luck in that gameplay, I hope it's not that noticeable. There is a cool industrial workers marker. I'm not sure whether it's in the vanilla or a custom or a custom asset. And it's also functional, so it creates sort of like an industry lot. I personally did customize it using Rico to have less workers. It does not affect actual visual numbers of them wandering around, so again, time for a little bit of decor within the office part, of course some greenery and fencing every now and then, and we are done with that. But it's not the end of the video yet, and as you might see, now our need for residential have risen, and I wanted to give you just a glimpse at how I started to work on another residential part, and I see each of these residential expansions are getting bigger and bigger. We had a nice piece of land which were supposed, I guess, to look like a fields or something like that. So I used the outline for the housing, and again lots of road layout to do, so I spared that part for you. I mostly use this very narrow kind of cobble or stone roads which are one lane, and in between I added the bigger road that actually lets you park the cars on that, because this one lane doesn't allow you to do that. And yeah, I've left some spots marked with this dirt road access for the future commercial site and also school. so enjoy a little time lapse. I have lots of work to do on that part, so you will see the final results in the next video. And that's the final results of the industrial zone. Let me know your thoughts in the comment, and YouTube think you might like this next video, so maybe check that out, and bye.